What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of The Right Mindset. I'm Thomas J. Bellezza, and today's lesson will be the step 8 of writing a script, the reading, and we're going to go over some things like, the as this is a crucial stage to the writing process when it comes to scripts, and why it's important to read out loud, and maybe have 2 or 3 writers with you, and what you should be looking for, listening for, and taking notes on. We'll also discuss the significance of this process and what writers should do during the reading to maximize its benefits. So let's get to it. Let's hit that thing. What? Hey, real quick, if you're new here or you've been here for some time but just haven't done it, please subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon so you don't miss out. Again, if you're new here and this is your first video, we do videos on lessons about specifically the craft. We analyze and review storytelling, and of course, there are interviews with fellow writers and authors as such. Let's just jump right into it, shall we? The values of a reading. During a script reading, several key values come into play. Firstly, hearing the words spoken out loud allows the writer to experience the flow and rhythm of the dialogue and narrative. Now, this is also true for writing a novel, so keep that in mind. You need to hear it. This process of listening to the dialogue and the rhythm and the movement of your screenplay helps identify any awkward phrasing or inconsistencies that may not be evident when reading silently. Secondly, focusing solely on taking notes enables the writer, you, to concentrate on specific elements of the script, such as character development, plot progression, and dialogue dynamics. Lastly, the real-time nature of the reading allows the writer to ask questions, seek clarifications, and receive immediate feedback, fostering a collaborative and constructive atmosphere. I mean, that's your goal. You should be doing that. So, hearing the words spoken out loud is so valuable. And when a script is read out loud, it comes to life in a way that reading silently on a page cannot replicate. That's because hearing the dialogue and narrative spoken aloud allows the writer to experience the natural flow and rhythm of the language. Especially if you have performers. You know, if you're going to get other writers to sit down and read with you, that's great. If you get some performers to read with you, give them a couple days with it to kind of work it out, you'll hear a natural performance. And this process can reveal nuances, inflections, and cadences that may not have been apparent during the writing process, or maybe inspire you to go, I like the way you're reading that. Let me see if I can make the other dialogue hit those cues with that character. And as a result, the writer gains a deeper understanding of how the words will resonate with an audience when the script is eventually produced or performed. Additionally, hearing the script out loud helps identify any awkward phrasing, stumbling blocks, or inconsistencies that might not have been noticeable during the silent reading. Now, certain lines or scenes may sound less natural or impactful when spoken. This would provide valuable insight into areas that require improvement or refinement. Because remember, just because it doesn't sound right doesn't mean you're a bad writer. All writing has to be worked. I mean, there is a fine line when, like, okay, I've been doing this a little too long. Maybe I should stop. When is good enough, right? But anyway, so another element of the value of reading is the ability to focus on taking notes. And during the script reading, The writer's main focus should be on actively taking the notes. By concentrating solely on this task, the writer, you, can direct their attention to specific elements of the script that they want to evaluate later and go deeper. This may include assessing character development, examining plot progression, or analyzing the dynamics of that script. And taking notes in real time allows the writer to capture immediate reactions, impressions of the readers. Are they laughing? Are they woeing? Are they ooh? Are they crying? I've been there. I've been at tables where people have read scripts and cried, and or go no, why is that? Oh my god, did they just die? Why would you do? Oh, I didn't see that coming. And those are great reactions. It means that those beats are hitting you, especially if they align with what you wanted, or you might realize you were writing something different by the impressions and reactions of the readers. And it might be a good way. You might go, oh, I didn't realize that. Quentin Tarantino once said that he didn't realize he was writing a comedy when it came to Pulp Fiction, because of the way John Travolta came out and did his read of the line and changing the way he said. He's like, oh man, I shot Marvin in the face, like it came off like he was stepping on his toe or something, instead of go, he got shot in the head, which is the verbiage choice does affect the context, But my point is, by being able to take these notes in real time, these observations provide valuable feedback that can shape future revisions and strengthen the script's overall impact. Moreover, having a record of the reader's responses facilitates the identification of patterns or common feedback points, which can inform the rewrite process. And what that basically means is, if you have the space, film it, record it, whatever you can do. Capture that performance, capture that reading, because there might be stuff you don't hear in the first sitting. So it's good to have it as a and I would even almost mark down what timestamp it was. This note is from this timestamp or whatever the case may be. Anyway, so the real-time interaction and feedback has a great value, because one of the most significant advantages of script writing is the real-time interaction and feedback it fosters. Unlike a written critique or review, a live reading allows the writer to engage with the readers directly. This open and collaborative atmosphere encourages the readers to share their thoughts, ask questions, and seek clarification. Now, the ability to ask questions during the reading allows you, the writer, to gain a deeper understanding of how the script resonates with the audience firsthand. It provides an opportunity to explore whether certain story elements are clear, engaging, or require further development. Now, the immediate feedback received during the reading helps you as the writer gauge the effectiveness of the script's storytelling and make informed decisions on how to enhance the narrative. In conclusion of this particular section, script reading is a valuable tool for writers to gain a fresh perspective on their work. Hearing the words spoken out loud, focusing on taking notes, and engaging in real-time interactions all contribute to the deeper understanding of the script's strengths and weaknesses. And yes, your script will have strengths as much as it will have weaknesses. Even when it is done, all art has perspective opinion. The way we look at things, someone might see weakness and strength in it. There is a difference between opinion bias and foundational critiquing. The art and style of writing. There are rules to writing, and as long as you understand those rules, you can break them as much as you want because you understand how to break them. But I don't like this is not as helpful as the way they are emotionally moving through it. Because if you're watching somebody emotionally moving through it and hearing how they're reacting to it, and maybe even their questions of, I don't understand this, or what's going on, or, something's missing. Those are critique questions of foundational critiquing, because you're learning about the elements of it and not necessarily like an opinion. If I don't like something, I'm not going to say it. It's not my place to like or not like something. It's my place as a developmental editor, or even someone helping out a friend at a table read. what is it that's making this work or not work on a fundamental level? And those are the things that I'll look for as a writer and or I'll speak about as a reader. And the thing is, this collaboration can be a constructive process, and it equips you as the writer with the necessary insights to further refine and elevate your screenplay, ultimately bringing it closer to its full potential. All right. Let's move on to the next thing. Here we go. What do you do during the reading? So, what do you, as a writer, do during the reading? Well, let's go into it. It's essential to actively participate during the reading to get the most out of it. Instead of intervening or explaining parts of the script, simply listen and observe. Real quick, when you're hearing the script and it's not making sense, don't explain it to them. The more you explain to them about the script, the less they'll figure out or be confused to help you with it. If anything, if they're asking questions about the script when it comes to story, ask them what they feel it is. If someone's like, well, I don't understand, why is this person doing that? Or, why are these two Catholic characters who are in marriage going to a Catholic priest for marriage counseling? You don't have to explain as a writer your what you're working at or what the narrative purpose is. You want the reader to kind of see that or not see that, because that'll help you as a writer. But it's okay to answer that question with, in the Catholic faith, especially depending on how deeply Catholic or religious you are in that faith and involved in the church. Most people with that criteria will go to the priest for marriage counseling. In fact, some people who are deeply dedicated to a church, or maybe through their parents or grandparents, are dedicated to the church, so they do it as a sort of gesture of love, is they go to the Catholic Church first to get the blessing of the priest, the Catholic priest. And that answer's okay, because and by the way, if that's your experience as a Catholic writing a script that has that moment and that's your answer because that's what you know, that's also okay. Because it's not really explaining narrative, and that's the point. It's like, you don't want to give away anything that will create bias to their experience. So allow yourself to sort of listen to the reading and not necessarily explain things. You're there to observe, watch their behavior. This is why I like to also record it with a camera, so I can go back and see how they were reacting. I like to see these things when they're reading, or like if someone else is reading, they're someone listening is like, or they lean in. Like I get a lot out of that. But your job during the reading is to take notes of any moments that elicit strong reactions from the readers, as this could indicate areas of strength or areas that need improvement. Resist the urge to defend or explain the script during the reading, as the goal is to gather valuable feedback and insight. Because during the script reading, the writer's role is crucial in extracting valuable feedback and insight from the experience. So, here are some specific actions and approaches that writers, or yourself, should adapt during the reading to get the most out of it. So if acting, listening, and observing is important, well, resist the urge to interrupt or intervene during the reading, as this may disrupt the flow and prevent readers from offering genuine reactions. Instead, be present in the moment and immerse yourself in the live performance. Basically, pay attention close to the reader's facial expressions, as I had suggested, body language, and emotional reactions as they respond to the dialogue and narrative. Take note of any moments that elicit strong emotions, laughter, or surprise, as these reactions provide valuable clues about the script's effectiveness. Such responses can highlight elements that work or don't work depending on the area. And by the way, if you're writing a drama or a dark, story, like a movie or television, whatever, and there is a part that actually gets people to laugh, and they're genuinely laughing because it's funny, not because it's silly or stupid or it's just bad writing or it like doesn't make sense. Like they're literally laughing because of the moment. That might not ruin your script. It might be one of those strong, important levity moments that really take away the heaviness of it. And I've written dark, deep dramas, emotional dramas, and I've put in humorous moments, not jokes, but humorous moments, and that's okay. So, but again, just make sure they're laughing because the moment is funny, even if it's organically funny and wasn't meant to be a joke. If you don't want it to be a joke, that's your prerogative to say, all right, I got to work on that. I got to kind of like take away the humor of it. Okay. Now, while you're taking notes, that should be something you write, but jot down any feedback, questions, or ideas that come to the mind. So even if they have questions, and you answer that question, again, not to clarify narrative, but to answer the question in general terms, write down the question that was asked and who asked it. Okay. You want to focus on capturing both positive and constructive feedback, as well as any specific suggestions offered by the readers. These notes will serve as valuable reference material when revisiting the script for further development. I would personally be concise and specific with my notes, but this is why I record with audio or video, especially with how people are reacting to it, or some moments or some sections of the script might elicit more questions, etc., or more confusion, and that's, you might want to focus on that. Something I like to do, though, by the way, is read scripts in sections. So if I know, if I'm working with the 27 plot point outline, if I know, I just let them read the plot point. So if that scene or scenes equals a plot point, I'll read that and then be like, do you understand? So if it's the first plot point, one of my questions might be like, what is their ordinary world? What is their life? What do you know of them? What stands out? Just to make sure the ordinary world's there. And as I said, you don't want to explain or defend situations within the script. We know you're writing and it's all in the process. So you don't have to go too crazy on that. The purpose of reading is to gather unbiased feedback and fresh perspectives on the material. So by allowing the readers to interpret the script without interference, you gain that valuable insight into how your story resonates with the audience. So avoid defending or justifying your creative choices during the reading, as this can hinder the reader's ability to provide honest feedback. And you also want open feedback. You want people to feel comfortable giving you feedback. So embrace the opportunity to learn from the readers. Don't attack them for not getting it. Don't over explain yourself if they're not getting it. So all right. What's next? All right. Questions and observation. All right. So during the reading, consider paying attention to the following aspects of your script. Character dynamics. Are the interactions between characters believable and engaging? Pacing. Does the script maintain a balanced and compelling pace throughout? I recommend watching one of my videos on pacing to understand really what that is. I'm sure as writers you probably do know, but sometimes pacing is sort of like a word that gets thrown around. The pacing's off. But what does that mean? Sometimes in a scene alone, you want movement slowed down. Quick, slow down, movement, slow down, right? So you want to be able to recognize that. Are they speaking fast? Are they speaking slow? When do you need them to slow down so it makes sense? When does it need to be quicker? These are things that are important. But then you want to look at that scene next to the scene that came before it and the scene that's coming after, because that'll influence pacing as well. So that's something to keep in mind of. Dialogue. Ask questions about dialogue. Basically, you want to know, does the dialogue sound natural and serve the character and plot effectively? Great question is ultimately, does character X sound like character X, or do all the characters sound alike? That's important. I would even suggest if they read half the script, then take the next scene and say, all right, I'm going to read a scene. I'm going to read it. Tell me who said this, what lines, or even even just randomly from the half of the script to the end, just pick random lines and be like, all right, I'm going to read a line. Who do you think it is? All right. Because that'll tell you if you know, if you're writing the true voice, All right. Emotional impact. You want to ask, what parts are resonating. I'm so New York. Resonating with your readers, and then obviously plot clarity. All you got to do is ask what the plot is. In the beginning, I might not ask this question until maybe they get to the midpoint conflict. And at that point, before you read the midpoint conflict, basically the whole first act and the whole first the first third of Act 2 is read. Hand them a piece of paper and go, in general terms, 1, 2, or 3 sentences, explain to me what the plot is. And then they all write it. No one is influencing each other. All right. So just to clarify, you want character dynamic questions, pacing, dialogue, emotional impact, and plot clarity. These are important. And of course, if there's anything else on your mind that you would like to add to that list of questions, go for it. You do want to focus on character dynamics, though, because that's what drives it. You want to understand what plot is. You want to understand the pacing and the dialogue's good, and is there emotional impact. But you might come up with ideas like maybe you're writing a mystery. So what is the mystery? Are you learning anything? Are you figuring out the mystery, etc., etc. If it's a romance, does it feel does it feel like a romance? Like, you might want to ask genre specific questions. Moving on to the final thoughts. The script reading, often referred to as a table read, is a specific experience that offers invaluable insight to writers. So embrace this opportunity with gratitude and appreciation for the help received. Remember, it's a collaborative process, and buying food and providing fresh refreshments for the readers can create a positive and supportive atmosphere. Pizza for the win. Take the feedback from the reading and use it to refine and enhance your script further. Your script will evolve and improve with each rewrite, leading it to a closure, leading to closure, and getting closer to its full potential. Now, I also like to add on that you want to also make sure that you're returning to solid readers that not only are at least at minimum good readers, but their questions and their insight is effective to your process. And it might take you a couple of years to kind of find a strong group for that. The other thing I would like to add to my final thoughts is think about doing a stage reading. Now, you don't have to rent the theater or anything like that, but you could get a couple friends to come over, sit on your couch while you and 2 or 3 other people read your script, and just kind of, you're getting the readers because they're kind of like in the character, and then you're getting the people watching and listening, and now you're opening up the door. Buy 2 pizzas. All right, next video on this series, we'll focus on step 9, basically writing the third draft. In that video, we'll discover the importance of the third draft, learn why this iteration process is vital to the success of your screenplay, and how it helps to elevate your storytelling. Question: what are your strategies for actively listening and gathering feedback during a script reading? I'll repeat that. What are your strategies for actively listening and gathering feedback during a script reading? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like what you watched and you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out. That's it. As always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time. Bye.